Hey guys, it's Ryan and Haley, and today we're talking about the benefits of gratitude. What is up, Haley?
What's up,
Good to see
Ryan?
you.
Good to see you. Yes, so we have an amazing video planned for you guys that we practice very often. I'm not going to say every single day because I feel like someone's lying if they say every day. Well, Ryan probably practices it every single day.
Most days.
But as often as possible, we want to talk to you guys about the benefits of practicing gratitude and why it's so important to weave into your daily morning routine.
Yeah, so we have the 5 major benefits of gratitude that we're going to get into, and then we're going to talk about some biological benefits you can have overall healthier well-being by being grateful. Who knew?
Yes, who knew? And that gives us to that will lead in after on our fifth reason why it's so important.
Cool. Well,
But
let's get right into it. What is the number one benefit of being grateful?
well, number one, as we all know, it enhances your well being. So, what does that mean? Well, great, it enhances my well being. But we talk about this a lot where it all is about the lens you look at life through.
Right.
So, if we're looking through dark, polarized lenses, everything is dark around us, meaning everything, if we put the analogy to the lenses, everything's kind of negative and we can see the negative in everywhere we look. We come up with all these negative reasons of why this person doesn't want to work with us or da 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 da. The list goes on.
Well, and if you start from a standpoint of scarcity or fear, then fear gets all over your lens, and that's what you're looking at the world through, right? With gratitude, you're saying, what is good in my life? What is right? What went right for me in the past? And now you come to the world with that lens, and guess what? You start seeing what's right and what opportunities are ahead of you instead of just the challenges and the problems. So it literally changes the lens that you see the world through.
Yeah, so we all want to look through those rose-colored lenses of making things bright, and it's not this like woo-woo, like, oh my gosh, we have to be so positive, but it really puts that frame of mind on being grateful. I mean, we are so blessed to be here. We are miracles, like life beings are miracles. I always make the joke to my mom, like, I didn't ask to be here, but it is a huge miracle that we're actually here. And just that alone gives me enough to get down that gratitude channel and being like, okay, I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for this. Right. So it's kind of also it's like the analogy. Exactly. And it's kind of like the analogy we've talked about before. It's like you have your air freshener in your car hanging from your rearview mirror, right? And it's like right there. It looks so big. And there's a car in the distance that you see, and the air freshener looks bigger than the car that you see out in the distance. Well, that's because that's the only thing we're focusing on, right? So when we focus on the negative, it appears to be this big problem when really it's small. It's like this microscopic problem.
When you have perspective and you see things at scale, you realize that the air freshener is like tiny little piece compared to the car.
Yeah.
Number two, mental health. It improves mental health, right? And this gets into some of the biological effects. There was proven studies that show a reduced level of cortisol, which is the fear drug and the stress and anxiety drug in our biological systems. And when you're grateful, you reduce the emission of that drug into your system, which I could use some of that.
I think everybody could use some of that. That's definitely something we've talked about. Mental health. It's become this big word now that we've been using since, I'd say, during COVID, when everyone kind of got locked up and really started to realize how important having a strong mental health was because of that anxiety, that depression, the list goes on, the self-loathing, the confidence goes down, all of those things that are involved with your mental health. So by practicing gratitude and just acknowledging the positivity that's out there, it really increases those feel-good drugs that we talk about, those dopamines, endorphins. It really gets that firing so you're not focusing again on the negative. It really helps with that mental well-being.
I mean, if you can do one simple thing, like look at something or a couple of things you're grateful for in the morning and increase your mental health or improve your mental health, I mean, I think it's worth the gamble, right?
I definitely think so. Worth the gamble.
What's number three?
So number three that we have is it strengthens relationships. So that's really important, I feel like.
Yeah.
Having those strong bonds, strong relationships, because then you get curious, you go deeper with people instead of being so surface level. A lot of us in sales or businesses that we're running, a lot of things are very surface level because we think like, we don't have time, we're too busy, or the friends just quick check-in of, hey, how you doing? And then it's kind of like it goes kind of stale after that.
Yeah.
But if you can be grateful for your relationships, the positive people you have inside your world, then that really increases those relationships to go deeper with them, to have a more strengthened bond. I mean, Ryan and I, we tell each other how grateful we are almost every day for each other. And we are like brother and sister. We have such a tight bond because we are so grateful for those relationships.
Well, and you start to see what's there and why you're grateful for what's there instead of constantly looking for what's not there. Right? Constantly looking for ways that a significant other, they could do this better. They could take out the trash, do the dishes, help me with this. They could be more understanding. Well, if we focus on all the things they're not, then we're going to start manifesting and only see what they're not. But if we say, man, they show up all the time. They're so loving. They listen. They're caring. They're present. And start looking at the things, whether it's a friend, a mom, a significant other, a sibling. Look at the things, the strengths and the support that they bring into your life and see what you're happy for and grateful for about the things that are there. And you'll start to see more of the reasons why you enjoy that relationship. So I think that's how it strengthens relationships.
Oh, totally. And just kind of sidebar on what you were talking about focusing on what's there. I recently moved into a new place and I was focusing on all the wrong things. I was like, this doesn't have this. It doesn't have this. It doesn't have this. And one of my best friends was there with me and she's like, Haylie, you're focusing on all the wrong things here. Focus on what you do have here. Like I feel like an adult. I have a garage. I've never had a garage in my life, like other than my parents' house. I have a view of the freaking ocean from my bedroom. Like, sure, my refrigerator doesn't have an ice maker, but that's okay. Like I can buy ice at the store. That's fine.
There's like a dozen other things that are awesome about it, right?
Exactly. So it really gets you set just focusing on what you have to be grateful, because I think that's one of the most important things is happiness isn't focusing on what you want or what you need. It's being happy and grateful and content with what you already have.
Oh, that is such a good point. And I think that it brings us to number 4, resilience, right? Because when things don't go your way, and I don't know about you guys, but life, it only has challenges all the time, right? So things, like, spoiler alert, things aren't going to go your way. And so how do you react in adverse conditions or in the midst of a challenge? So if you can step back and realize that I'm going to be okay. I'm going to survive this next 5 minutes, this next day, this week, whatever it is. Life is full of challenges. But if you can look to what's good in your life and have a little bit of gratitude for what is working, then it allows you to put in perspective. Again, the air freshener versus the car, right? When it's this close to me, it's all I see. But when I have it in perspective, it's just one part of a long life. And it's one thing that's unfolding in front of me. And it's really not happening to me. It's just happening, right?
Yes.
So I depersonalize when I have perspective, and it allows me to be resilient, to realize that the world isn't coming for me. Somebody just cut me off, or one thing my phone call didn't get answered, or one thing didn't go my way, but there's 100 things that did go my way today. So why is the little speck of dust or bird poop in my windshield all I see? It happens to all of us. Congratulations. We're human. But by being gratitude and practicing gratitude consistently, it gives you that consistent perspective, which allows you to bounce back and be resilient.
Well, somebody on our team said something to us one day, and it's really stuck with me on like, you have already survived 100% of your worst days. So you've already made it through every single day that you thought was one of your worst days. And congratulations, you made it through. You're resilient on that. And to Ryan's point, like, we can't control the traffic jam that's building up. Like we have to really, I think having gratitude puts in perspective also the things we can control and the things we can't control. And 99% of things are usually out of our control. We can control our attitude and our actions. And that's where I get into gratitude is I am grateful that I have the capacity to be able to handle my actions, to be able to take this with a grain of salt and say, you know what, there's just traffic. It's just happening.
I have a car.
I have a car.
I have gas in it. I have a snack in my hand. I'm fed. I have shelter.
My car's on empty a lot, but it's okay.
You're focusing on all the wrong details.
But I can go fill it up at the gas station. That's just, I'm the person that lets it go all the way to 0. That's it.
Well, drum roll, please. What's number 5?
So number 5 is the one that Ryan has been dying to get to. But it really has scientific benefits on how it increases your physical health. So not just your mental health, not just controlling this thing between our ears, but how does it actually affect our body?
Well, and this is what amazes me about the human animal and our human condition and this experience of life is that we can think a thought and have biological, physiological results from that thought. That's insane. Okay. There aren't monkeys and dogs and cats out there that are thinking a thought and then their heart rate goes up.
Right.
Or thinking a thought and their heart rate goes down and they're calm. We can do that because our mind doesn't really know the difference, right? If it's happening in here, it might as well be happening out here. That's the trick. So when you get grateful, what happens is all those feel-good neurotransmitters like dopamine, serotonin that you were referring to, and then you get a little workout in, then you get the endorphins, and that's the body's opiate. The mixture of those things can make you feel really good. If you're in a funk, move your body, get grateful, call me after, you're going to feel great. The other thing is it diminishes cortisol. Cortisol is the fear drug that releases probably usually within the first 90 minutes of awakening, because back in caveman days, we had to wake up, get jolted by a little bit of fear to make sure there weren't any T-Rexes or saber-toothed tigers coming for us, right?
The tribe's still here. Everybody's here. Nobody left us.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I'm not alone. I'm not in danger. That's why we get a kick of that drug. So if we get grateful in the morning, we diminish the levels of cortisol more quickly, and we get less anxious and less scared and fearful, fear-set minded or scarcity minded. The other thing is it's been linked to lower blood pressure. And so that's overall healthiness and well-being. And just doing this video, I feel way better just talking about gratitude. So I know that it works, right?
Well, and I think it's important. We heard this statistic one time, and it's crazy that this is something from Jay Shetty. Love listening to him. He has a great podcast. If you don't listen to him, add that one in. But he was talking about how our brain has 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day. Wow. That we can't control. Like, it just happens. So if we can take a little bit of prevention on that and control some of our thoughts with, we're grateful. Why are we grateful? What are we grateful for? And control our thoughts that come in. That's us taking a little bit back of our control of what we put into our mind, because that is so important. What we're taking in, what we're seeing, what we're watching on TV, what we're listening to. And so if we can take a little bit of control back, that's how you do it out of those 60 to 80,000 thoughts that you're having.
Right.
So I love this part of it because it really does. Like, we're thinking right now doing this video how grateful we are to be able to do this. And I already feel better. I'm like, all right, this is a good day. Like,
it's a great point, you guys, because what you consume mentally, it weaves itself into your self-dialogue. And there's one biggest influence, or one voice that has the biggest influence in your life. And that's the voice inside your head and how you speak to yourself. So if it's all garbage TV all the time or all negative news all the time, guess what your self-narrative is going to sound like? Pretty darn negative. If you weave in some positivity and some gratitude, you stand a fighting chance of having a positive outlook. And that, you guys, is so important, because how are we talking to ourselves? What are we saying? Are we kind? Are we graceful? Are we stoked? Or are we constantly under threat and scarcity and fear? Because when you go into fear, you go into victimhood mentality, and that's just a slippery slope. And gratitude can help you stop that.
It's like that little Jiminy Cricket. What's he saying? What's he saying? Or as we also say, like the mouse with the megaphone. What's going on in that, and how can you change that dialogue in your own internal mind? And getting grateful, practicing gratitude is one of the best ways that have been proven to be able to do that. And I know it's a little hoo-ha and like all that kind of stuff, but it really works. And we want to give you guys the challenge of journaling every day and getting grateful and picking 3 things every morning you're grateful for. I don't want to put him on the spot, but Ryan actually has a gratitude text every morning he sends.
And it gets me out of me, and because I send it to other people. And I'm not thinking about my concerns all the time. I'm thinking about others, and I get to note what I'm grateful for that day. So I'm not starting with, oh my gosh, I can't pay my bills. Oh my gosh, my car's not working. With all the stuff, the challenges in my life. I start with all the things that are right, and I have a foundation where I can build on more that's right.
So if you want more tips on that, hit us up. That's what we're here to help for, and we hope you really enjoy this video.
All right. See you next time, guys.
Thanks,
Take
guys.
care. Bye.
Bam.